Hello, my friends. Welcome to Celestial Sundays with me, Moonlit Britt, here on Shady Pines Radio. Today, we are going to be discussing past lives. I am so excited to talk about this subject with all of you. I myself have had a past life regression, and I am so excited to share my experience with all of you. But first, I wanted to touch on our other constant here on the show, and that is music. Now, this is our fifth episode of Celestial Sundays, and we are still very much in our infancy, so things may change a little with each episode as I feel it out. But for the past four episodes, I have been playing music that fit the theme of the show's topic. But I think I may try something a little different. For those of you whom are still getting to know me, mysticism isn't my only passion. My other passion is music. I'm not a musician, I'm just a massive fan. And while I love all genres, from reggae to metal, I'm probably going to be steering away from the pop music. Why, you ask? Well, you can hear that on any channel and even TV. I am so blessed to have this platform to share my knowledge. So why not share some awesome tunes that may not be in the mainstream? You'll more than likely hear me playing alternative, new wave, shoegaze, oldies, classic rock, electronic and synth, Motown, reggae, and more. But one thing you will rarely hear on Celestial Sundays is country. Sorry, but aside from a few exceptions, it is just not my bag, baby. I will still play songs that fit with the topic of the show, but it probably won't involve all the songs. Okay, so got that out of the way? Cool, great. Past lives. Now, this is a big, broad subject with many factors at play and many different beliefs. At its most base level, past lives or reincarnation is the belief that our soul lives many different lifetimes and should be evolving as it goes through each lifetime. Many religions believe in this, and while they are all a little different, it is not an uncommon thought or belief that we live multiple lives and our future lives are constructed on our past ones and the karma that we have accrued or created in those lives. So to me, I look at this earthly plane as a type of school for our souls, and I know I'm not alone in that theory. We are here to learn lessons and to evolve as spirits. Some have even compared it to a game for our souls, and to beat the game is the objective. I think of it more as school, like I said. And how and when do you finally graduate? That's the question, isn't it? My belief is that you want to reach a level of enlightenment and awakening to where you are actually, in the way that you live and treat others, is demonstrative of God. So you want to reach that level of Zen and enlightenment to where you don't have to incarnate on earth anymore. Your karmic debts and bonds are cut, tied, done, sealed, over, and healed. And now you are free to work in the unseen realm. And who knows what you will be doing over there, whether you're a spirit guide or who knows? I'm not here to say that I know everything. Obviously, that would be ridiculous. And I've studied these subjects for many years and still have so many questions. And that's why I do this show, so we can learn together, and maybe I can share things with you and you can share things with me. How can you share things with me, by the way? Well, I have a Facebook page and an Instagram account by the name of this very show, Celestial Sundays with Moonlit Britt on Shady Pines Radio. Hit me up on there. Let's talk about these things. I'd love to have your feedback, your input, and suggestions, or maybe I can answer questions for you. So please make sure that you find me on social media, click like, follow, and all the good things. I also do giveaways every month. Getting ready to announce my October giveaway. The September one was pretty sweet. Congratulations to Nikki who won that one. So the next one's coming up. So make sure you find me on social media and keep in the loop. And that being said, let's play some music. I'm going to start this 3-song set with Morcheeba's song, Friction. Last song was Not Our Deal by Best Coast. And before that was Tame Impala's song, New Person, Same Old Mistakes off their album Currents. And honestly, that whole album I could play today to fit the theme of past lives. There's even a song on the album called Past Lives. But I chose to play New Person, Same Old Mistakes simply because it's one of my favorite songs. I love that bass line. Also, Rihanna covers that song, and she did such a good job that you can hardly tell the difference in the songs, which one's the original and which one's the cover. The only thing different really is their vocals. Okay, so let's get back into our subject today, which is past lives. But first, a quick disclaimer. The theories, ideas, and beliefs I speak about here on Celestial Sundays are for your information only. You can take this information in any way you see fit. If it resonates with you, if it broadens your horizons and causes you to think a little deeper or consider more angles, that's great. Critical, objective thinking is incredibly important. If you just find it amusing or entertaining and take it with a grain of salt, that's perfectly okay too. It's my hope, above all, that you leave each show with a bigger understanding of these things we're discussing, whether you subscribe to them or not. I'm here to educate and share, and they are subjects I'm passionate about or curious about, and many of them I am a firm believer in, but that does not mean you have to be, and that's not the objective of this show, to change your mind about anything. But if it does, and you start getting, you start thinking a little bit more about stuff, I love it. Okay, past lives, reincarnation. There are many areas to cover here. Karma, soul groups, destiny, life choices, deja vu, Akashic Records, meditation, hypnosis, and regression, all tied into this. But first, what exactly is reincarnation? The word reincarnation derives from Latin, literally meaning entering the flesh again. Rebirth is a key concept found in major Indian religions and discussed with various terms. Reincarnation is discussed in the ancient Sanskrit texts of Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. It is a very ancient concept, and some of these religions believe we start as animals or even plants, while others believe that our spirit or soul is only to be relived repeatedly as human, and I am of the latter belief. So, how does this work? Remember how we discussed energy a few episodes back when talking about the 12 universal laws? That energy cannot be created nor destroyed, but can only change form? So when we die, what happens to all of that energy? That life force inside of us, the memories, the emotions, the thoughts, the subconsciousness, the skills, all of it. That is a lot of energy to change form. I believe all of that is a part of our soul, and it is a massive mystery to humankind just exactly what happens when we die. Though there have been many people whom have had near-death or after-death experiences, and all of them are very similar in experience. One of my personal favorite books, Embraced by the Light, is a New York Times bestseller by Betty Eadie, and it recounts when she died in a hospital at the age of 31 after undergoing surgery, and the people she met, the truths that she learned, and the magnificent realities of the spirit world which she encountered before coming back to her physical body. So the thought is that our souls are pure energy, eternal and perpetual, and that we must live our lives and go through trials, tribulations, celebrations, and experiences to level up and learn with the purpose of furthering our soul development and spiritual growth so that we may evolve with each lifetime. The people in our lives are a part of our soul group. A soul group are members of the same spiritual family as you, and because of that, they share an incredibly strong bond with you that transcends time and space. We have made agreements with each other and how we will be involved with one another in different lifetimes, mainly enrichment or purpose to our lives. This includes our enemies and loved ones. Yes, our enemies, people we cannot stand or have serious reservations with, even sworn enemies and arch nemesis are a part of your soul group usually. How do we recognize a soul group member? It's pretty easy at first, right? Your family, the close friends, the people that you were raised with. The various people in your life are usually your soul group, some closer to you than others. But how about later in life and various random times when you meet people? Have you ever met someone and just clicked, or seen someone and they seem super familiar to you, and then when you start talking, you feel like you've known them forever? This person is a part of your soul group usually. Chances are you've known these people many lifetimes and have had different relationships with them in each or some of your lives. You are all there in your group to serve the purpose of helping one another with life lessons and to hopefully evolve with each life. Now, not every person in your soul group is going to incarnate in every life, but they definitely reappear through the span of your lifetimes, and supposedly we have lived many lives. How many? Yet another mystery. But the theory is when you die, your soul leaves its body and travels back to the place of creation in another dimension or the unseen realm. Your soul is reunited with other souls in your soul group who have also passed and are waiting for the correct time to reincarnate. This is a time of peace and harmony, and it is during this time, between life incarnations, that we agree to our roles in each other's next life on the physical plane based on the karma that we've created or continued in that previous life. All of the souls in your soul group have made agreements with one another to meet at some point in our earthbound lives and to play different roles in one another's life. And now it is time for some music. Here is Stratosphere by Mute Math. Tricks tune Now or Never Now, and before that, my favorite song of all time. Yes, all time, Heartbeats by The Knife. So let's talk a little bit about deja vu. It's trippy, right? It's weird, sometimes unsettling, and always captivating. Whenever it happens, I find myself going like, wait, I dreamt this. Or did this happen? Wait, no, I definitely dreamt this. What is the definition of deja vu? Wikipedia says deja vu is the feeling that one has lived through the present situation before. The phrase literally translates to as already seen. Although some interpret deja vu in a paranormal context, mainstream scientific approaches reject the explanation of deja vu as precognition or prophecy. For me, I'm still convinced I've dreamt it. However, some people say deja vu has to do with past lives. How? Let's talk about Dr. Brian Weiss first. He's an American psychologist and hypnotherapist who stumbled upon past life regressions completely by accident when one of his patients began discussing past life experiences under hypnosis. Dr. Weiss did not believe in reincarnation at the time, but after confirming elements of the patient's stories through public records, came to be convinced of the survival of an element of the human personality after death. He's written 2 books I adore. I strongly suggest checking them out if you are interested in past life regressions. They're super easy to read. They're fantastic. The first book is called Miracles Happen, and the second is called Many Lives, Many Masters, both by Dr. Brian Weiss. Excellent books and absolutely fascinating. Dr. Weiss has become one of the leaders in past life regressions, and he says one of the most common signs of a past life is deja vu, the sensation that you have met a person before or have visited someplace previously. Sometimes this deja vu feeling is a sign of a past life with a particular person or in a specific place. Dr. Weiss also says that before we're born, we arrange destiny points in our lives with members of our soul group, as I discussed earlier. Well, deja vu feelings may represent the remembering of our plan as it becomes a reality. It's just so crazy to me. Deja vu for me always seems to happen in little snippets, and I'm sure it's the same for everyone else, but it's always like the most random, strangest things. So when I think about when I have a moment of deja vu, it's like, how is this a pivotal moment? Sometimes it's not, but it's leading to one, if that makes any sense. So regressions, great way to segue into past life regressions. Over our many lifetimes, we have been all races, all religions, both sexes, and many nationalities. And that is why bigotry and prejudice are so horrible and ridiculous. I mean, we've all been rich, we've all been poor, we've all been all the things I just said. We must learn from all sides. That's what the spiritual human experience is supposed to be. We're all the same. We're all one. Remember the first universal law we discussed a couple weeks ago? The universal law of divine oneness? Well, there you go. When it comes to these lives, isn't it kind of fun to imagine what we were in a past life? Were we a king or queen, or perhaps a famous musician or actor? Or were we a peasant during the Dark Ages, or perhaps a warrior in a tribe? And which life left its biggest mark on us? Which life experiences from one of those lives was a karmic one? Probably all of them. And how far have we been carrying our debt around without healing it? Probably a lot of them. When we continue to carry that karmic debt, we keep repeating the same mistakes. It is only when we break that debt that we can move forward and drop that karmic baggage for our next life. Sometimes it's hard to recognize those debts or karmic bonds, but our subconscious remembers. Our subconscious stores everything. And the subtle knowing when a similar situation arises again for you is a clue. There are a multitude of ways to access our past lives. The most popular being through hypnosis and what's called a past life regression. A past life regression takes an individual back through time to their previous lives by accessing memories and experiences that are normally hidden in their subconscious mind. I was lucky enough to have one about 3 years ago during an incredibly transformative and challenging time in my life. I was put under hypnosis by a licensed facilitator who asked me a series of questions that opened my subconscious to access those memories once I was hypnotized. It was a strange, overwhelming, and incredibly familiar experience. We visited 4 different lifetimes and the pivotal points in those lives that were affecting my current life here as Britt. During this regression, I discovered who my twin flame is and the debt that we had to one another, and that this lifetime was finally our opportunity to set things right. We've not discussed twin flames yet, but we will later in the show. I also discovered the source of my fears, my addictions, and why I haven't followed any dreams, as well as my bond to a special group of friends. So I can share that all with you right now if you want. Yes? No? Okay, I'm going to. In the first life we visited, I was a little girl, an only child who lost her parents in a tragic accident. My grandmother, whom is actually my grandmother in this life, raised me after the accident. I often played with a little boy who was the son of a man that would come around to our farm to help my grandmother with work she couldn't do herself. The time frame was approximately the 1500s in rural Europe. The man was a widower, and his little boy and I had a quick and fast bond, both because we lost our mothers and because we just loved to play together. We were little kids. That little boy is my best friend, Sheena, in this life. I recognized her soul immediately in the regression. The next life, I was a young man in colonial America during the Revolutionary War. We lived on a massive plantation type setting with many servants. My sister in this life was my aunt in that life. We were very close in that life, and I often went to her with my troubles or for her to be a sounding board, which is honestly very similar to this life. My father in that life was a well-respected and somewhat feared very alpha male. I was a not so alpha male in that life. I had aspirations to be a writer and had gotten a job for the local newspaper. My father was always urging me to find a girl and settle down, but I had no desire. I questioned my sexuality. Why did I not want to settle down with a nice girl? Was I attracted to men? I shuddered at the thought. No, I'm not attracted to men. But I'm not attracted to women either. I wanted nothing to do with domestic life as an adult male. I was asexual, and I had a lot of issues with this, a lot of guilt. In that time, it was not something that was acceptable. I wanted only to write and further my career. I also wanted to get out of that town and explore more. One day, in this lifetime, I witnessed a murder in the woods near our family's land. The men who committed the murder did not see me, but I was terrified that they did. During this particular part of the regression, I remember feeling the fear and horror of what I saw in those woods as I ran. It was like I was right back to where I was in that lifetime. I felt like a coward. I felt full of fear. I felt like less of a man for not coming to the victim's aid, especially when his murder was made known in the village and I knew about it and I didn't say anything because I was scared. I buried myself in alcohol to cope, both with my cowardice and disappointing my father. So that was some pivotal things there in that regression. Then we moved to a different lifetime. The next life we visited was a very, very short one. I was a small child laying on a straw bed in a very dirty, dusty straw hut with a rounded roof somewhere in Africa. I was starving. The hunger was so strong and intense, I can't describe it. My mother was there, also starving, grinding a root in a bowl for us to eat. And it was my mother in this life. Someone came through the door, and I recognized it was another member of the tribe, a female with her daughter. She brought more root for us to eat. She was sharing, even though she and her daughter were also starving. Her daughter was my best friend, Sheena, in this life, the same as the first life that I visited. And her mother, the African mother in this other life, was her twin sister in this life. So incredible. In that lifetime, I died very young from starvation. There's another life that we visited, but I will save that for when we discuss twin flames. So what lessons was I meant to learn from those? Why were those the lifetimes that popped up during that regression? There are several reasons. We'll just touch on a few because they are pretty personal, but I have a big appetite in this life, and I've always loved to eat food, and I've struggled with weight off and on my entire life. So this was obvious to me. I had starved before. I also became addicted to something in this other life to bury my pain, the alcoholism and the cowardice that I felt. But in this life, I have made it a point to always stand up for the underdog, to the point I fought people's battles for them. So I've done the complete opposite in this life. And I've also been able to shun addictive traits in this life. There's a lot more to it. Anyway, I had to learn boundaries because of these things. And there's so much more, but again, it's pretty personal. So I'll just leave it at that for now. But this regression gave me insight on the current relationships in this life, as well as shed light on the issues, habits, and problems that I'm facing in this incarnation. Honestly, it was a crazy experience. And the easiest way I can describe being under was like this. You know the old devil and angel on each shoulder thing? I know this sounds weird, but I felt like myself, but smaller and on my higher self's shoulder, kind of watching and seeing and reliving these moments. I could feel my voice talking and hear myself, and I was aware of what I was saying, but my voice did sound super far away and a little detached. It was truly surreal. I believe everyone should have a past life regression. It's an intense and enlightening experience that can help us understand why we feel a deep connection to certain places and people. It can help identify physical ailments that we may have, obviously, which may be remnants from your past lives, explore unresolved feelings we've carried into this life, realize the fears or beliefs that we have in this life that we can't quite explain. It allows us to connect the dots through acknowledging and embracing the massive key lessons learned through those lives, or perhaps not learned and are still a work in progress. The regression shows you which karmic debts and bonds need to be remedied. Not all people have had success with regressions. I do feel it's important to say that. My partner, Will, doubts his regression. He had one too and is not sure if he really was hypnotized, although he is very open and he is into the same kind of things as I am and wanted to really explore his past lives, but he just couldn't quite get hypnotized. It did take my facilitator multiple times to finally get me under hypnosis. So something to keep in mind there. All right, I have jabbered on and on about past life regression. So now I think it is time to play some more music. And why don't we play 3 songs that have to do with the subject matter of past lives? So here is the song Past Lives by Local Natives. Some throwbacks for you there. That was Scrapper Blackwell with Nobody Knows When You're Down and Out, which Eric Clapton covered. My partner Will suggested I play that song because the lyrical content is perfect for today's discussion, so thank you, Will. Before that was Ooh La La by Faces, another song with lyrical content that made sense for the subject matter today on Celestial Sundays. And next up, I would like to discuss the Akashic Records. Have you heard of the Akashic Records? Well, the Akashic Records is a digest of all human events, all human events, thoughts, words, emotions, and intent ever to have occurred in the past, present, or future. It is believed to be encoded in a non-physical plane of existence known as the mental plane. To elaborate on that, I'm going to reference baguacenter.com. This is what they had to say about it, and I think it sums it up perfectly. The Akashic Records are referred to in every spiritual tome written throughout history, sometimes as the Book of Life. These records have been referred to as the cosmic mind or universal mind or the eye of God. The Akashic Records contain energy that makes up everything in the universe, and this energy is regarded as the energy of love. This energy is referred to as Akasha, which is derived from the word Aka, which means storage place, and Sa, which means hidden or secret. The simplest translation of Akasha is an unseen space or storage place. The Akashic Records are the records of your soul's journey from the time you first arise from Source until you eventually return home to Source. The Akashic energy holds all of your thoughts, feelings, actions, and deeds from each lifetime the Akashic field is part of and connected to the all in everyone and everything. You have your own masters, teachers, and beings of light that keep track of this information just for you. We can access these masters and teachers, spirit guides, and they will answer your personal questions about this life and the past lives which are affecting you today. We come to complete some karma, fulfill our past life vows, or to be with someone special and to support people who are a part of our soul family. At times in our life, we feel blocked or constricted or disappointed in our life because we don't remember why we chose our families or situations. But the Akashic Records will help you learn information about these situations and to heal and clear the emotional pain. You can ask questions in relation to health, career, relationships, life purpose, self-esteem, and abundance. Now, I'm going to do an entire episode on Akashic Records in the future. Anyone can access these records through meditation or through a psychic medium. I had an Akashic Records reading, which is different, though similar to a past life regression. The Akashic Records reading is more broad, incredibly in-depth, and you're not hypnotized for it. I saw a psychic who specializes in Akashic Record readings, and it was another enlightening and honestly a life-changing experience for me. I'm going to save that for another show, but I will put a link on my Facebook page to the wonderful woman who did that reading for me. It was life-changing because the things that she told me, it was like a light bulb turned on. When she said those things to me, it was incredible, and it was, and I hate to use this word again, but it was profound. It changed the course of my life a little bit again. And I learned what my life purpose was, and that in itself was worth it to me. And since I have followed the path that she led me to through my Akashic Records reading, telling me what my life purpose was, I have been able to fulfill so many dreams and I guess level up in a way with my spirituality and with my life's journey. And it was a big game changer. So again, I really think everyone should have a past life regression and an Akashic Records reading. They are so enlightening. I just can't think of a better word for it. It's incredibly intriguing to hear what they have to say to you. And you can do this through meditation as well. They also say you can give yourself a past life regression through meditation or self-hypnosis, though I have tried and I failed. So I went and saw a professional facilitator for that. But meditation is a huge way to access so much. When you find a way to meditate, it can be there are guided meditations on YouTube that are made specifically for past life regressions or Akashic record readings to be able to access them. So if you're curious about that, hop on a Facebook, type in guided meditation for Akashic records or past lives. You'd be surprised. Meditation is such an incredible gift and tool for us human beings. And I don't think it's used enough. And that is the biggest understatement ever, because if everyone meditated, even if it was just for 10 to 15 minutes a day, this world would be an incredibly different place. It would be a lot more peaceful, and filled with a lot more love. On that note, I am going to play some music. Now, I am pretty excited about this next song. I just love the song. I do. And the lyrics, they kind of fit a little bit with what we're talking about today. And I want to hear the song. I love it. This is my show, right? I hope you like it too. The next song is called Jaws Theme Swimming by the band Brand New. And then after that, I'm going to be playing a heavier song. It's a little bit heavy for some of you, I bet, but it is a beautiful, beautiful song. Again, the lyrical content is fantastic. And that next song that you hear after Brand New is going to be Toe to Toe by Mastodon. But first, here's Jaws Theme Swimming by Brand New. All right, that was a longer and heavier set than I normally play, but to be honest, you'll probably be hearing a little bit more of that kind of music here on Celestial Sundays. Of course, first you heard Brand New and their song Jaws Theme Swimming, then Mastodon and their song Toe to Toes, followed by Queens of the Stone Age with Give the Mule What He Wants, and then a song called 2020 by The Days, The Nights, an incredible band that was pretty popular here in the Pacific Northwest. And that last song was Sand by He Is Legend. I love all of those songs. So good. So we're coming to a close here on Celestial Sundays. And I wanted to talk about one quick thing real quick before we ended the show. And that is children and reincarnation. Kids are new to this world, right? They're new to life. They're young. They haven't been here that long, and they're pure and innocent. And sometimes they startle us with the things that they have to say. And if you go online, you can see article after article about children recounting past lives. I'm actually going to post a link to a pretty interesting article on my Facebook page, and I would love to hear about your experiences if you have any with past lives or regressions or Akashic Records reading. Please let me know. You can find me on Facebook at Celestial Sundays with Moonlit Britt on Shady Pines Radio. I'm also on Instagram under Moonlit Britt, and if you aren't on social media, please feel free to shoot me an email at celestialsundays@gmail.com. So before we close today, I wanted to read this incredible story about this 2-year-old boy named James Leininger. He's a Louisiana boy who loved toy planes, but he started to have repeated nightmares of a horrible plane crash. He would kick his legs up in the air, screaming, "Airplane crash on fire, little man can't get out." Then during the day, he would slam his toy planes into the family's coffee table while yelling, "Airplane crash on fire," to the extent that there were dozens of scratches and dents in the table. James talked about the crash, relating that he had been a pilot and that he had flown off a boat. His father asked him the name of the boat, and he said, "Natoma." When his father remarked, "That sounds Japanese to me," James replied, "No, it's American." James went on to say that he had piloted a type of plane called a Corsair, that his nickname was Little Man, and that he had a friend on the boat named Jack Larson. Well, after years of painstaking research, James's father learned that an American aircraft carrier, the USS Natoma Bay, had supported operations at Iwo Jima during the World War II battle, and that had lost one pilot there, a young man from Pennsylvania named James Houston. His plane crashed almost exactly as described, hitting the engine, exploding, crashing into the water, and quickly sinking. And the pilot in the plane next to his when this happened was named Jack Larson. It's nearly impossible to conceive how children so young should have such vivid memories, or how they, or anyone connected with them for that matter, could have known anything about such obscure figures from the past. Little Man, that was the guy's nickname back then. Isn't that crazy? Nor do such children appear to be abused or suffering from any trauma connected with their current life. And furthermore, the families in a lot of these cases are firm believing Christians who think that the concept of reincarnation is, foreign, I guess would be a good way to put it. But yeah, those are some interesting situations, don't you think? I would love to hear your tales. If you have something and you don't mind if I share it, again, please reach out to me on social media and we can talk about it. So the next thing I want to do before we close is I want to play a pretty cool soundtrack It's about 4.5 minutes long from Logic, and I think it sums up everything that we have discussed here today with past lives incredibly well. Who is it? It's Neil deGrasse, I think, is the person who is speaking as God. So I might be wrong there. I might have to double check on that. I apologize. But Logic here with this track where he has just died and he is having a conversation with God about what to expect, what he's experienced, and it's definitely all about past lives. In fact, it's called Waiting Room, which is a really great analogy for what we're going through in between each incarnation here on planet Earth. Anyway, before I keep rambling on and on, I just want to say thank you once again for tuning in to Shady Pines Radio. Make sure you check out some of the other shows on this station. They're incredible, unique, fun. There's something for everyone here. I appreciate you tuning in and hanging out with me this Sunday morning. I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope you have a blessed rest of your day. And I love you all. And be safe. Thanks again, and see you next Sunday at 10 a.m. for Celestial Sundays with me, Moonlit Britt.